Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. This program is suitable for general viewing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good evening. My name is Faisal Kassim and welcome to the live Real Talk. The nation has today witnessed something that has never been witnessed before. This was historic on very many fronts. Something that even the president himself came out yesterday and the day before yesterday and admitted that for the first time the country is finally coming out to discuss finance bill. The country is voicing out whatever they feel, whatever they see, whatever they find not fit or fit in regards to the finance bill. Yet, this is something that has been going on every year. But the most shocking part is the turnout of the millennials and the Generation Z that have occupied the streets from all corners in their thousands to protest against the finance bill. And the voting was done in 204 yeas and 115 nays in the National Assembly earlier on. So what does it mean to the country? All these voices that came out to protest against this bill, but still the bill sailed through, and now it's an act, the Finance Act of 2024. What does it mean to the people? What does it mean to all these voices? What's the way forward? Joining me to dissect some of these questions are actually advocates. One of them is a tax advocate and consultant, and another one an advocate of the High Court. If you're watching and following all the events on social media, of course, you must have come across their names. Farhia, Jama, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Karibu sana, and thanks so much for making time for us.
Thank you.
Noordean, Mambo,
Salama.
I'm surprised you still have a voice. After Tuesday shouting at the Central Police Station, demand to see the OCS.
At least we saw him, and we released the close to 400 and something people who were arrested that day. The intention was to get them released because we had information that some were minors who actually just got...
what do you mean a minor?
Below 18 years. Below 18
Really?
years.
It happened?
That is why we were adamant that we wanted to see the OCS. And also, we came to understand that they put them in cells without booking them. So there was no way of knowing how many people are arrested. There's no way of knowing if you are picked whether you'll be found, and that was the danger. And that's why we wanted to talk to the OCS. We wanted to see all those who are arrested in the cells. We saw them at around, I think, 8. We went into the cells as advocates who were there. We saw them at around 8, and we started doing the processing where they were released. They started with the bunches of ladies first, and then they released the gents later. And by the time we left there, everybody was released. Interesting.
So today was definitely, the crowd was bigger, but for you lawyers, it wasn't as busy as Tuesday because there were not much arrests compared to Tuesday, were they?
Now, today's was interesting because they were not pro-arresting. They really didn't want to arrest. I think they came to realize that there's no charge. You know, like they arrested Boni, they arrested, I think it was Njeru, and there were 3, and they took them to court. And there were no charges the DVP wanted to confer against them because there was nothing to charge them with, you know. I remember when we were at Central Police Station and the OCS there was telling us, you know, as lawyers you're here, lakini there's no notice. We are saying there's a notice, you know. And there's this misconception or notion that they have to approve.
Yeah.
You see, there's nothing like approval. Article 37,
just notify.
It confers you a right. But now you see, the same right that you're given, you should also respect other people who won't be part and parcel of the demonstration. And that is where the police come in. The police are notified so that they provide security, 1, to the businesses, and 2, to those of you who are actually protesting.
By virtue of that alone, then, does it mean that, or rather, wouldn't it mean that they would have to some sort of acknowledge accept or approve for them to be there? Because
for them, it's a notification to plan. No, it's a notification to plan. You know, if you say approve, it means you've stifled Article 37.
What if then they do not have the capacity. Maybe there's another function that the police are deployed there, and on that material day, they would not be present.
That is why you're told to give them a notice. 3-day notice is more than sufficient. It's more than 3 days.
So what if they are not in capacity to provide?
Of course they
on
are.
that material day. Can they then write back and say, you know what, we do not have the capacity to provide X security, so do you mind postponing putting your
that brings us to the number of bodyguards and police officers these leaders have. You have someone with 11, 12, 10 bodyguards for what reason? Then reduce those numbers. Of course.
And that's their job.
Yeah.
It's their duty to protect you as a
Serve and
citizen.
protect.
So if you tell me you have another function, what other function? What's your purpose?
Maybe there's a presidential function, maybe there's another
It's not
national
as important.
function.
This is a protest happening. So they have to assign, because the rights are for the citizen. Article 37 does not say you have to ask them for permission that they need to be there. We'll
So
still
just notify.
protest. Whether
Just
you're going
notification.
to be available or not, we'll protest. It's a right.
And if something happens, then who bears the cost?
It's on them.
Tell them.
Because we told you that we will be there.
We notified you.
Eh.
Public Order Act. That's what it says. Notification. So you notify them that we will make sure
Whether
that
you show up
we'll
or
have a
not.
protest on the X date. And that's Article 37. That's what it says. You know, if we go back to a place where they have to accept, we'll never have
We'll
any
never
protests.
have protests in
You
the
will
country.
never picket. You will never demonstrate against any draconian law that has been passed in this land.
And those rights will be infringed upon.
Exactly.
And the guys will be up in arms again.
And there's a reason why that was put in the constitution, because those who came before us suffered during the one-party state back in the day. Because they would assemble kidogo, saba, they would be caned, they'd be arrested, you know, being
Because of
told,
approvals and
you
all
know,
that, bureaucracy.
Yeah.
This thing they used to call illegal assembly.
Yes.
You know, the funny thing, when we were at the police station, they were saying, you know, when you stand more than 3 people, that is illegal assembly. I asked them, which law are you quoting, boss? Which law is that?
Where is it provided for?
And that was before we started singing, we want to see the OCS. And we ended up seeing him. After inhaling more than, I think, 10 tear gas canisters.
Inside the station.
Inside and outside.
Inside and outside.
So they lobbed 2 inside, then we went out, and the entire time from around 2 p.m. when we were there, from 2 p.m. to 6, they were lobbing tear gas canisters towards us and even towards the University of Nairobi, because the people from the University of Nairobi were more or less on our side, if I may say that, but rather on the side of those who were arrested.
Interesting. Farhia, you are a tax advocate, and if there's one thing that people are really coming outside there to protest against, they say it's punitive tax measures. And the president, of course, together with the Kenya Kwanza, allied members of parliament, they had a PG, parliamentary group meeting 2 days ago, where they discussed the matter before they tabled in the House for second reading, and they removed a number of things, right, that would appear draconian in their view. And this was a gesture of the president saying that, you know what, we have reduced, we have heard you, we've listened to you, but at the end of the day, we still have obligations as a country. If you had the chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, Honorable Ndini Nyoro, coming out and saying in the House of Parliament that we need to pay the JSS teachers, we need to release money to the counties, we need to release money to the constituencies through the NGCDF. And that is why we need to pass this law as is, after, of course, removing whatever they removed on Tuesday. What then is still there in the finance bill to protest against after all these things that the president removed together the parliamentary group from Kenya Kwanza?
So first, what you need to understand is this was a manipulation tactic that was used this time.
What do you mean manipulation tactic?
Manipulation in that, I tell you, I passed some punitive law, and then now I tell you I've removed a portion of it, so you won't be affected so
that's
much.
What people are complaining about.
Yes, so that's why people were going for reject and not edit. When you say reject, it means we are not okay with the whole bill. And some of the things that they removed were the things that people were making noise about. Things like food, motor vehicle taxes. These aspects were the ones that people can notice. And this is an illiterate who's trying to see through, and they picked only a few things. But the main issues are still in the bill. Like issues like data protection, them assessing your M-Pesa to check how much is coming into your M-Pesa for them to tax you. And you see that is already infringing on your rights in the Constitution. Article 31 of the Constitution. So where is the privacy? Where is the privacy of ensuring your data is protected? And if you see on Twitter, they were afraid that their data was shared on social media, but they still want our data, and they want to make sure they get information of how you're earning money and where your M-Pesa, where are you sending money, all this information, which will still be used against you in court. So there's a lot of things that have not been discussed, have not been tabled, and you see, for a bill, it needs to go through a process. Public participation, you see, when a bill is being rushed, you need to wonder what is being rushed. Why is it being rushed? So why are they rushing to approve it and ensure that it passes?
So do you want to tell me that there was not enough time for public participation?
There's no enough time.
Is there any?
How many days have we done public participation? How many days have we done public participation? 7 days is not enough.
How many days are enough?
They should have given at least 14 to a month. But now they are not giving you a chance to voice out, and they've seen that this already, the Gen Zs, you're just focusing on Gen Zs, but so many people came out. There was a 45 or 60-year-old lady in prison, yeah? And we had to release her. But you see, how many other people came out? The focus, yes, the majority were Gen Zs, but you need to know, in our country, 65% are already millennials, young people, and Gen Zs. So generally, right now, the finance bill has always been passing, and you've already talked about this. Finance bill has always been passing every year. What is different this time is because information is on our fingertips. Okay, and now people are more informed, people are more educated, and now the information can be accessible anywhere. And for those other years, the finance bill was being passed. Why is the finance bill in 2024 a big issue? Why was finance bill, yes, 2023 was an issue, but why is this one gaining more traction? It should question you, because it's actually affecting the people. It's taxing them, overtaxing them. We don't have a problem with being taxed. We have a problem with being overtaxed. It means they're denying you your rights. What's the cap then of taxing then? If you're saying you're being overtaxed, then what's the cap? You don't have a problem with being taxed. You have a problem with overtaxing. Yes. And what's the cap? At what percentage then would you say is fair?
It's not even about a percentage, if you ask me. You know, you tax people to offer service. So you're taxing me. The healthcare system here is rotten. The road network has issues. We do not service our roads. We do not repair our roads. If you look at, most roads are not recarpeted. You look at the education system, we have issues. They have reduced money on capitation as well. You ask yourself. So in other transport system here doesn't work. In other jurisdictions, people are taxed, like, you know, they quote Singapore and et al. But if you look at the tax they remove vis-a-vis the services they get from the government, two different things. Here, there is no service, but they want to tax to the only coin that you have. The problem is, one, the business environment has been ruined by the same administration. So, one, there are no jobs. They're killing businesses. Two, businesses are shutting down. That means more loss of opportunities. Three, it means you and I don't have money in our pockets. So, when you tax me, so what are you saying in essence? When she says that we don't have a problem with taxing, be humane in your taxation regime. Like, if you want to take everything I have, like, for example, there was the issue, you want to tax someone who earns 50,000 per month. From that, you take 21,000 from that person. So they remain 29,000. So you ask yourself, that 29,000, they're meant to pay rent, they're meant to eat, they're meant to dress, they have children who are supposed to go to school, eat and dress. Is that being humane? You see, when you are an administration voted for by the people, you represent the interests of those people. But when you decide that you are more or less like a tyrant, and they are serving you, you know, it's like how the cops at times believe that instead of giving us a service, we were supposed to serve them. And that's the wrong mentality. So at the end of the day, like she rightfully says, it's not about just taxes, it's about the service. Now, for example, you know, people need to understand something. When we talk about the finance bill, where does it come from? It comes from the budget.
That's what to say. Because you're saying there are no services and they just read the budget. No. Now they need the finances to service the budget.
I am coming there.
And they promise things in the budget.
I am coming there.
In terms of allocation.
I am coming there. You talk about the budget and the appropriations. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you earn 10,000 a month and you're supposed to budget that amount. Will you budget with 10,000 or 20,000? 10,000 of course.
10,000, yeah.
So you have a budget that you can only get X amount. Why do you over budget above that? That's where overtaxation comes in, because you can only service 2 trillion, but you're going for 4.1. That means the above amount will come from the Kenyans.
You have
that
partners,
means,
you have grants, you have...
No, you see,
it's not about that. It's about the issue of...
And then, let me ask you.
Denying someone the human rights. Even the unemployed are being taxed.
The
ones who don't have a job.
I saw the leader of majority.
So where are they supposed to get the money?
The leader of majority today say that if this bill doesn't pass, the one today, if it didn't go to the next stage, it means that they will have to cut the budget in State House, the budget at OP.
And that's what they don't want.
We're like, okay, even their own budget must be cut.
That was the chair of budget and...
No, that was the leader of majority. That is Ichungwa. You say they're going to cut the budget from State House, from OP, from... he quoted a number of offices.
Yeah.
That is okay. Because why are you getting so much money at the end of the day? Why? If what we can afford right now is X, focus on X. When we get to a point where we can get Y, now go to Y. And that is where overtaxation comes in, because you're killing every single Kenyan so that you can be able to satisfy some appetite that you have. It doesn't make sense if you ask me. So at the end of the day, that is the question people are asking. That why must we bend so that we actually make some people happy? If we don't have that amount of money right now, will they die? They won't.
Interesting.
And where is the money being channeled to?
That's what I want to loop you in now. All said and done. The bill has passed. It's not an act.
It's not an act yet.
It's not an act.
It's going to the 3rd stage now.
It's past the 2nd stage.
Yes.
It's open for
amendments now. Now they're going for amendments.
Yes, which is 3rd and the 4th
now
stage.
We wait to see whether members of parliament will actually represent us and do amendments on certain things. Because a question was raised today by Honorable Mwenje. He said the issue on data infringement that she talked about. The recommendations from the committee is that it will be looked into. But they haven't said they've dropped the decision they want to give KRA powers to actually check your transactions. So that must come in an amendment. And we wait to see how they'll vote, because we know they're going to vote in each and every amendment that will come up. So I'm waiting to, it's not yet over yet. Of course, now the government they've gotten their way. Because if today they fail, they would have thrown that thing away. But since they decided let's go to the next stage, so let us wait and see what those amendments will be those 2 or 5 clowns will do as we move forward. Yes.
But even with the amendments, we also need to question, at least now we've come to realize the financial literacy of our leaders. So some of the people who are even passing this bill are so dumb, sorry to say that, because they don't even understand what is in the bill. And they were so proud coming on social media saying, I haven't read even that bill, but I'm going to pass it.
Yeah,
so it tells you, it tells you that even if we go for the amendment, the person who is even going through that bill is so ignorant about what is in the bill, is so ignorant about what issues are going to affect and the impact it has on the future of this economy. And also, it also has an issue where we don't know what will happen even in the amendment stage. So, yes, we are at a crossroad, but we've not lost yet. We just have hope that something can be done.
One is on record saying, before you continue, one is on record saying that yes, you voted for me as my constituents, but I was in a party, so you voted for my party. And since I love my president, I will vote yes to make my president happy. That one is a smack on the face.
And also the separation of powers is not...
Because they forget that your duty is to represent, legislate, and oversight. But now they forget that they are an arm of government. They say, oh, sisi tuko serikali, azimio wako opposition. They forget that parliament is an arm of government.
It should be independent.
It should be independent, but now we're having an issue where even the president yesterday in the videos was supervising. Like literally he was with the MP. When Ichunga was reading, the president was next. Why would the president be in there in the first place? That is wrong.
He's a party leader. What do you mean?
Party leader, he's a president. Party leader to Shatoka election.
But again, the budget is supposed to operationalize his
He is an
manifesto.
executive. He's an executive. These are legislators.
But again, Kenyans voted for him because of the
why
manifesto.
are these two mixing?
You know what that reminds me of?
Yeah.
You know, I did biology in school. That's capture method.
Wait, guys.
I'm holding you guys hostage.
Yes.
You have to do what I need to do.
Help me understand this. You elected the president because of the manifesto. So let's understand the relationship between these two arms of government here.
It's
Done.
not an issue about electing the president.
Listen.
The office of the president first, let me just first correct you on that. The office of the president is an independent office.
100%.
It's not about what we elected as a party.
100%.
He is a president. Tumeshatoka time ya election. What is the duty as a president in the constitution? What is he supposed to be doing?
Farhia, I 100% understand you, but I want you to understand me and explain to me like a layman, right? As to why the president was there. I'm just trying to think as the devil's advocate. So the president's minister, finance minister, went to parliament to read the budget. The budget that's supposed to help to actualize the manifesto of the president. But this budget is depending on the finance bill to be passed, right, to actualize this budget. And that's why I'm thinking the president was there. That is why he called the members of parliament from his party. And remember, he told the members of parliament, petitioni mswada so that tupatie watu stima like we promised.
And that's the problem. That's the problem we are having. That is manipulation. It's not supposed to happen. There's something called separation of powers. There are three arms of government. We have the executive, we have the legislature, and then we have the judiciary. So imagine, let me give you, from a layman's point of view, your boss comes, you're doing your job, and he's here looking at what are you doing. So, unaenda, unafanya nini? That exactly, will you be doing what you're supposed to be doing? No. So legislature is an arm of government, separate and independent from executive. The president was not supposed to be even there in the first place. He's not even supposed to be there when they're reading. The job of a president in the constitution is to assent a bill. Now he's in the last stage after we've gone through the 4 stages, and that's when people are becoming educated today, understanding that the phases of how a bill goes through. It goes through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and then the 4th stage, then the president analetewa kwake. Si mali anakuja. Anakuja and then anafaa kusign.
There's something he said. You see, you rightfully say that the Minister for Finance presented a budget. Now, appropriation is done in Parliament, okay?
Yes.
Now, the Minister of Finance, when he presents the budget, who is he representing? The President. Because it comes from
the executive,
it comes from the executive, right?
Yes.
So, already, and that is why you see, there's no single day you're told that the budget is read in State House.
Have you ever seen
You know why? Because those members of Parliament are meant to legislate, represent, oversight. So they either trash that budget or accept it. Now, when you have a scenario where these members of parliament, dressed in yellow and green, decide that they can no longer do their work, and they must
become party,
and they must be whipped and panel beaten to a certain format, so that whoever is paying the people enjoys. They go to State House. And that is why we saw a scenario where she says he was like a prefect.
Prefect,
what are you reading?
What are you saying?
You get. And that is the wrong way of doing things. It means that the president has become the executive and the legislature.
And the judiciary.
So he's
the
so now
wasn't there.
No, I think the court was closed.
No, there's a time they went there as well to negotiate. We don't know what they negotiated about.
We don't know what happened.
So here's the thing. So the president has decided he will
interfere,
be the president, and also make laws. And make sure laws and pass laws. So
and also interpret huku.
So it means the question is: so do we have separation of powers? Do I need a member of parliament then?
Is the president supposed to be an MP?
Are we going back? Are we going back to make?
No, that was the previous constitution, not now.
Are we going to make a certain president become so powerful that laws are made in State House?
Yeah.
So you know, if that is the case, like you said, oh, here's a manifesto, it must pass and it all. So let's say, for example, I'm a president. And I just wake up one day, my crazy thoughts, and I'm like, I don't like the fact that people have 2 arms. So I want a legislation that people lose 1 arm. Must it pass because it was part of my manifesto? It is an unjust law. It must fail. So members of my party, will they just drink from my cup and run and say, yes, you all must lose 1 arm? But again, if they accept the finance bill, what will stop them from accepting that? That is my question, and that is where we are going now.
That's our issue.
That is our worry.
That's where we want to show you.
Those 2 or 5 clowns are the problem we have.
Yeah. Because
there are two who
it's
passed.
called undue influence. They didn't have a voice.
And then
They're just
remember-
scared. My boss is here.
And then
so
remember, there are
do
those-
I do?
But no one forced
How
them to get in the
is your
house.
feeling when your boss is standing behind you, yeah, and you're supposed to do your job?
Because of their
So you'll be
personality.
like,
Of course,
which personality?
A Gen Z would not be scared.
see,
But
From what we saw.
so that
you
it
see-
means they're being influenced.
You see, what's interesting is
Yeah.
this is the same parliament in the last administration. This parliament had a sugar report incident,
Yes.
where members of parliament were being bribed 10,000
10,000.
shillings in toilets.
So
these are not people you can trust.
Yeah.
If they can be bribed 10,000, you
What
might
were
as well
they
become a member of
given?
parliament because you can bribe them.
Yeah.
10K, oh, panga line hapa.
Panga line kujeni
Because
hapa.
it was
Mpitishe
done
hii
in
bill
the
haraka
glare of the
haraka.
camera. They were there. We
Online.
been told, oh, kwa choo wanapewa 10K so that the sugar report doesn't pass. And these are the same people we entrust our lives
Finance
upon.
bill. This
They
is
have a
like
problem.
signing our lives away. Like,
But I'm happy
literally.
Kenyans are now awake,
Waking up.
and they're asking questions on how their money is going to be spent.
And that's the thing I want us to talk about. I mean, what we have seen, the millennials, and leave alone the millennials, the Gen Z.
Gen Zs.
Hey, what we've seen, it's something else.
Actually, I say kudos to them.
unimaginable.
We need to actually clap for
I
them.
say kudos to them.
Because
All
they've
those-
spoken for all of you who were silent.
I
They
s-
came out
All of
for,
us.
yes.
Even you.
I saw a joke.
No, me, I wasn't silent. I was making noise.
But you're a millennial, just like me.
Yes,
saw
but I talked.
I saw a joke somewhere. One of them was saying, next election, we must hide our parents' ID cards.
Yes, so
They're the
that
problem.
they don't, yeah. Even the parents are now happy and watching their kids,
You know,
and they were clapping for their kids to be there.
You see, the government of the day might think that they have gotten away with this, but believe you me, there will be repercussions.
This is a
And
revolution
it
has
is
started.
beautiful that this has started because the conversation must change away from ethnic mobilizations, away from party divisions.
Tribalism.
But people have a single agenda. One, how do we make our lives
country,
better?
yeah.
How do we get back our country from the hands of those who are selfish and don't care about us? How do we end up having a serious parliament? I am always perturbed to see members of parliament fear a president.
Yes.
You are so powerful that you can impeach the guy.
You can even impeach him.
You are so powerful that you forget that
Yes.
when
But they're ignorant. I don't think they know their powers.
The millennials you're talking about, I mean, these
No,
are guys who I'm sure 2 years ago they were past 18 years and they had IDs and they were voters.
They
And
didn't
we did
vote.
People didn't vote.
Some of them
8
didn't even
million
vote.
people.
Let me tell
8
you,
million
it's like
registered
now.
voters did not
No,
vote
Faisal,
last
let me
year,
tell you one
last
thing.
election.
You need to actually be surprised the fact that our own children are coming to the street. That they're awake enough. It's like now your child coming to tell you, Daddy, you're not doing the right thing.
yes,
So imagine
No, but
it
I'm
has
saying, we have 8
how
million
bad how
registered
bad have
voters
we
who
gotten?
did not
No,
come out to vote.
listen, how bad have we gotten to the extent the children and the students are coming out to ask the government to actually be a good government. It means we have failed. We have failed.
but what I like,
Come on.
yes, you say people didn't vote, but what I like is that people have come to realize that the decision not to vote costs you for 5 years. So now, when you look at the conversations, they are saying, A, we have realized that A, we didn't vote.
Yes.
B, there are those who are not eligible to vote at that time, and they are now eagerly awaiting
awake.
to vote. And that brings us to the problem we have. People here talking about Article 104, that is recall of
That-
MPs. I wish it would be possible, but we don't have an IBC constituency right now, and it's by design. If we had, we would be able to do. We'll be able to
And
do some
actually,
people.
they've actually become more awake. They're even reading the Constitution now.
Yes.
If you see on Twitter, they have been quoting sections of the law.
My
So
friend,
it means now we are actually need to be aware that, you see what happened even in Wasingishu. The young people came out and
Yeah.
spoke to the governor and said, listen, you're not going to lead us this way. So these people, you need to be knowing that there's a revolution that is about to come out.
Today
One,
they
they
flogged
are
much
going
the
to question
Nyeri
your
governor.
leadership. Yeah.
They told him, where do you stand? Reject or amen? He said, reject.
Guys, the shocking part, I saw finance bill GPT. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
There is
Interesting.
finance bill GPT literally in existence.
And you see, there are Gen
That
Zs who are more educated, more
Yes.
informed, using technology
Yes.
to get awareness. So imagine these guys will be questioning, not based on tribalism or any, based on ideologies. They even know the law now more than the leaders we have in parliament.
So who are the leaders of these Gen Zs?
No, you know, if we...
They are no leaders,
if
one,
we
so
go-
they're
if-
using technology
Yes, you know, if we...
to mobilize each other.
If you go that route, then you start saying, X, Y, Z are the leaders. Do you know
There's
what
no
happens?
leaders.
No, you know what happens? The government approaches those
yeah.
people.
So, and that's the thing.
And
So,
silences them.
Yeah,
But
but
now
now-
this
question,
one,
but
they
there's-
can't.
but
and that's my question. So, the fact that they do not have leaders then, is it going to be sustainable?
Yes,
It will. They
it's
will
better that way,
mobilize
because
each
there's-
other and choose one person who they think is based on their
So
ideologies.
that's going to be the leader?
Yeah. And they're actually looking for, they're searching online. They're looking for the leaders who passed and not passed. They even posted. They're tracking you so that they know who's going to lead us and who's
Beyond the
going to stand for
politicians.
us.
I'm saying
Yeah,
beyond
they
the
don't want
politicians.
politicians. They're tired. The fact that they came out, they're already tired. So
No,
now
but
they're
again,
looking
we've
for a
we've
leader
been hearing
within.
slogans like Farhia Water, 2017 we
Yeah.
heard about it, 2022 we had it,
Now
but here
this
we
one-
are.
But let me
now
ask you a
this one
question.
is not.
Which of all those was as serious as
As
Tuesday
this
and
one.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Which? None.
And this one, there was
None.
no political leader.
There's no
It was
political
very
leader.
peaceful. Yeah, they were more informed. They're using technology to
And
assemble.
today,
Very
the
organized.
president's
They
own
assembled.
backyard. That is what's usually
Yeah,
Actually, their street bash was way better than any other place.
Any other. And they were even more organized.
You
They
know,
didn't even have finances. They even.
They started earlier than everybody else.
Yeah.
Kericho joined them later on.
Mombasa.
Mombasa were
the whole
there.
country.
Of course, Nairobi is the
Literally.
capital, so lazima street bash ikuwe Nairobi. You know,
And hawajuani,
Kondele
you
boys
should
were
be
there.
afraid of the fact that they are
They
all
don't know each other.
connected. They don't know each other. They don't have a leader. They were organized more than your politicians right now.
The only communication is X, Instagram, TikTok, or
and-
VPN.
Yes.
And those are the leaders.
No, I'm
Yes.
saying this.
Those are the
these guys
platforms, not-
they're using the platforms to communicate via
communicate.
X, Instagram,
And
TikTok,
they've been going
and
with
VPN.
certain influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are leading them well.
Today I even saw, because you know I came to just check if everything was going on,
Yeah.
okay, to see if people need some assistance, people assistance. I even saw celebrities, you know, they've decided that, you know, when it's a mwaga unga, if they are not part and parcel of this
Yes,
thing.
because
So
now their pages will be
now you see they are
shut
there,
down.
they are
I
taking
saw
photos.
them in
They're-
numbers.
You know, today
They're
was
saying
today was
unfollow.
interesting.
They're even unfollowing people.
Today was interesting because this quote
The
unquote
cancel culture
this
is...
quote unquote celebrities, you know, it's
They're
ordinarily
also scared.
their fans are the ones who ask for photos.
Yes.
Today they're the ones who are asking photos.
With the people.
Yeah, I saw some using their own phone. So you
The
see,
cancel culture, I'm telling you, is on another level. There's one celebrity who I think had a Twitter space the other day, X space the other day, and I don't know, he said something against this protest, and the guy was cancelled totally.
But
You're
we
talking
Then he
about, I also posted on social media, one of the lecturers went to class and started talking about it, saying that he approves of the finance bill. People walked out, the students walked out.
No way.
And he said, I'm going to fail you in exams.
as who? He should try.
You see?
We will await that.
The lawyers.
Ah, we are
The
waiting.
coordination of this thing is
The lawyers are even involved.
Yeah.
And there's no time where lawyers have assembled like this against something. It means there's a problem. So lawyers...
just a hype.
No,
No,
there's
it's not hype.
Lawyers cannot assemble against something. It means professionals are getting involved. Before, it never used to be, the professionals were not involved in strikes and all that. So that should concern you. Even as a president, if you need to sit down and think nicely, you need to be concerned.
It's even gotten international traction.
Technocrats.
Yes, listen.
You have, for example, I'll give you an example. Like the Chelsea striker called Palmer supported it.
Team Kobe Maino.
Among many other people who were supporting
Team
this.
Kobe Maino, I
you
saw
know?
him posting.
People started
Football
getting
troll.
even contacts of IMF.
Yes.
Football troll, it's a
Yes.
popular...
Even Trey.
yeah, football troll.
Yes.
The one on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a popular social media handle trolling anything EPL.
Yes.
They tweeted about reject finance.
Yes.
bill.
Imagine.
I'm like, this thing
How?
is out of this world. Guys, listen. Both of you guys are involved at different capacities.
Yes.
Would you be willing to engage the government?
Yes, we are willing. We are willing to sit on those tables. We are willing to guide them because I think they have been misled. They're not even involving, maybe they are involving some technocrats, but those technocrats are misleading the country.
If today members of parliament say, okay, say, you know what, come here, tell us.
We
what are your
have
issues?
been there. We've come to different bills. We have discussed. Even we've gone to parliament.
Yeah,
We're-
that's
as
what I'm saying. Today they
stakeholders,
come
we are
again and
willing.
say-
Yeah, we're willing to come to the table and we're willing to discuss with them and guide them because they actually need guidance from experts. And that's why David D's are having a lot of problems because now people are like, these people are advising the government wrongly or something.
Noordean, you're thinking hard.
I just believe that members of parliament need a spine. And that's what they need. And it reminds me of a saying that if you elect clowns, expect a circus. So we are having a circus for 5 years, and that's the worst thing you can ever do. When you have members of parliament who can't stand firm. You know, I look at parliaments that were there before, the likes of members of parliament who were back in the day, and what we have now, we have complete jokers. You see a member of parliament stand and say, I am voting yes because I love Ruto. Are you even serious? Right now. Like she rightfully says, someone says, I've not read this thing, but I'm voting yes. The executive must have its way. So when will I have my say? When will what I want ever pass? You know, I do believe that we don't have a parliament in this 5 years. There's no parliament.
So are you willing then to come in and...
There's no parliament, and we are sad. Because
they are also non-literate.
Because we have a scenario where people are led by their party position. So my question is, what happens when your party position infringes on my rights as the voter?
No, what if we kick you out?
You know?
So what will be the benefit of your party position?
Spine or not, are you willing then to help them to develop that?
Of course, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, but you see, you can only help when needed.
Someone who needs
when
help.
you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. You wouldn't need
and you're not willing to listen.
And say, you know what, guys, I'm going to bring you these MPs and you talk to these MPs.
Yes.
You've talked to the MPs before in your life, I'm sure.
Are they willing to listen?
People listen? They know it all.
Do they understand?
I'm not asking questions here.
No, even you also have a problem. Even as a journalist, imagine bringing, even before we used to love watching TV and seeing conversation. Right now it's so boring. If you hear your leader is coming on social media or TV, you're like, what is he going to say? They're just going to. How many MPs have been trolled on social media just because they don't have content? They're so shallow. Like, even, we don't want to mention some names, but even when they were asked about the finance bill, they lacked even basic information. Even a Gen Z, their own children have more information than them.
They're more triggered with the numbers being out there. But the funny thing is, this is what I believe. If you're a public servant, if you represent the public and eat early, then your number should not be hidden. Because you see, when you look at the Bunge portal, it shows the academic qualifications. Your number should be there. As someone who voted for you, I should pick my phone, call you and say, Mwesh, ABCD is happening. Kindly
medical appeal,
lakini ukitafuta kura zetu si walitupatia namba.
Wakitafuta kura yetu, they even answer orders.
And they even on ground, after they wear slippers and come to look for us.
So, this is not over. Can I have you please again next week, same place, same time? Please? Okay. Can I?
You've asked the question on TV.
Please. Farhia, next
the viewers are watching.
Let's talk in chambers.
See us later.
The only person we can add here is Hanifa.
Okay.
Hanifa Farsafi.
Yeah.
We just add into this panel. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Farhia, we're good? Noordean, we're good? Bas, khalas, tosha. Aban, to go show next week. We are continuing with this conversation. And I'm telling you, it's 5 minutes past 9 p.m. I'm eating into somebody else's time. And mind you, we did not go for a break, so we did not pay our bills. And taxes, those are not come. Guys, my name is Faisal Kassim. See you next week, same place, same time. With this panel, we're just going to add 1 or 2 extra others. And we are going to have some serious conversation about the young people taking back the fate of their country. My name is Faisal Kassim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا فأصلحوا بينهما فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون